What's up, guys? Nico Me here, back at it again with my top 5 legendary trios this time. Yesterday I did my top 5 legendary duos, and if you want to see the results of that, it was very interesting. You can see it in the description below. I'll have a link, so you can go check that out. But today, I am talking about my top 5 legendary trios. Now, I think trios are more recognizable than the duos, just because you have so many iconic trios, and you'll see it throughout the whole video. But I'm really liking this list. I think these are probably some of the coolest legendaries in the world. I say, as Pokemon is real. Please be real one day. But yes, I'm not going to waste your time anymore, so let's get on with number 5. Number 5 is the Lake Trio. They're also known as like the Emotions, Azoth, Uxie, and Mesprit. These guys really were memorable for me just because I really liked them as a child for some reason. Nowadays, when I look back at them, I'm not a huge fan, like, because I don't know, I just don't find them, like, way too unique. But I find them very, like, alien-esque, and I find them very interesting because they don't look quite like the average Pokemon, but they also still have that Pokemon appeal. And I really like their idea behind, like, emotions, and I like their storyline in Diamond and Pearl. I actually like these three better than I liked Dialga and Palkia, if you believe it or not. I know that's probably a disappointing or, like, unpopular opinion, but I really do think these guys are really unique, and they do fit the Pokemon category, but also fit an alien category too. And I also love psychic types, so that helps as well. Okay, number 4, we have the Reggie Trio. The Reggies, I think, are probably the most unique of the trios. They're not really something you'd ever expect for Game Freak to ever release. They're not some inanimate object. They're these Cyclop-looking golems that have eyes, and the whole, like, Morse code thing, I didn't even bother with that as a child because I thought it was so complicated, but all my friends, they would try so hard to, like, get these Reggies, and I thought it was so complicated. I waited till the later games where they're very easy to catch, but I really like the idea of them, and I like how they're not just all rocks. They're all different types. There's a steel, there's a ice, there's a rock, obviously Reggie Rock, and I like how they're all similar but different. Like with the Spirit Trio, they all look the same, just with different colors, really. But with these, they all have really different designs, although being really similar to each other, if that makes sense. Well, you can tell this is a trio. These three Pokemon are directly related to each other, but they're also very unique in their own way, and I like that about them. So, the only thing I dislike about them is their leader, and I can't really take their leader into account. I'm not a huge fan of Regigigas. I think it could have been dealt with a lot better, but that's aside from the point. I really like the Reggie Trio, and they're number 4. Number 3 is, there wasn't even a name for these guys. Literally, I was looking it up. I'm just going to call them the Gem Trio, which kind of stinks because they're probably my least favorite in-game, just because they're probably the stupidest in terms of plot and how to catch. Like, one of them, you got to go to McDonald's. One of them, it was just some random lady at a Pokemon Center who gave it to you. One is still not released yet. But all of those things aside, I have to give credit where credit's due, and these are probably the coolest looking legendary trio in terms of just uniqueness, but also cuteness, but they're all around perfect to me in terms of what they encompass, and that's pretty gems and volcanic, and I don't even know what they are. I just find their appeal and their design very good. Diancie being this this gem crystal pink rock. I love pink crystals. There's a thing I used to play back in the day on Minecraft where there was like this Naruto clan, and it was like a Naruto mod, and it was like a pink glass, and it reminds me of that. And then Volcanion being fire water, and I don't know, I just find that really cool. And then Hoopa having an unbound form, like, I thought that's just very left wing and very unexpected. The only thing I really want from this trio is a good plot, and I think Pokemon Z would have been the game to give it to them, and that's why, honestly, if anything, these three Pokemon in particular are the ones that I think got gypped the most from X and Y, because I think they look the coolest out of all the legendaries, and that I don't know about that. I really like Xerneas and Yveltal, but I really think they have a really good design. They're all very unique, and they kind of just got ripped apart from any type of plot or storyline. So hopefully with maybe Sun and Moon, like people are speculating, we might go back to Kalos, and hopefully we'll be able to catch these guys for real, not from a McDonald's trade-in card or a Happy Meal recipient. I don't even know how there was something with McDonald's. It made me angry, but it is what it is. So yeah, the Gem Trio, whatever you want to call them, I just think they look really cool, and yeah. This is where it starts to get really, really hard for me. The top two is very, very, very close in my heart. I love both of them almost equally, but I have to put one at number one, and I'm going to put the legendary birds at number two. Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. See, I did it 1, 2, 3. See, okay, my friends literally made fun of me for like an hour because I told them I just realized that it's 1, 2, 3, Dos, or Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres. I'm still struggling. Like, seriously, one day in Spanish class, I was like, oh, uno, dos, tres. And I already knew the whole letters, not letters. See, I'm confusing letters and numbers now. I need to go back to school. I went to school today. I don't even know what I'm like trying to do myself here. But I was learning the Spanish numbers again. I was just looking at a sheet of paper and I was like, wait, Zapdos, Articuno, Moltres, wait, is that where they're named from? And I was like, wow, I felt, I'm not a blonde, but I felt like I had one of those dumb blonde moments, that people joke about, I'm kind of blonde. I get blonde in the summer. Okay, whatever, enough about me. Start talking about birds. I really, really like them in the way that they're so embodied of what a legendary should be. And it's not what a cover legendary should be either. This is like the perfect set of what I would expect a trio to be. They're all very covering of their own aesthetic, and they're all very just their own, but again, you can tell that they're a trio. They're not really like a connected trio. Like, I could honestly, unless ignoring the number thing now, if say Articuno, I didn't know what generation it came in, I would have maybe not associated Articuno and Zapdos. I would have not assumed they are a trio if I just looked at them for the first time. Where if I look at the Reggies, I automatically know they're a trio. Now, this kind of looks as an advantage for me in this way because they're birds, and I don't think birds should look the exact same, whereas golems, I think they should probably look similar. But I really, really like their designs. I think they're very Gen 1. And by very Gen 1, I mean that in a positive way, where their designs aren't too crazy and they're not too basic either. They're a happy medium. And I really, really like these guys. But sadly, number one, the legendary beasts. Some people call it beasts, some people call it dogs. There's a whole discussion. This guy was like calling this guy a noob for calling them dogs. Oh no, it's a beast, it's a beast. So I'm just going to call it the beast so no one yells at me. But it's also the dogs. Suicune, Entei, and Raikou. Okay, if there's some meaning behind that as well, tell me, because like I feel really done with Pokemon names since that moment, like a month ago. No, it was like a few months ago. Okay, guess I'm talking about my personal life and start talking about Pokemon. These three they hold a special place in my heart. Heart Gold, Soul Silver was the game, still is the Pokemon game that I played the most. Heart Gold, I had 460 hours in. Pokemon Y is at 300, but that's with 2 playthroughs in it. This was just one playthrough. I had 450 hours. This was probably the peak of my Pokemon obsession in my childhood. I feel like I'm in the peak of my obsession with Pokemon, like, now, in general, but back then, I literally, since I was a kid, I didn't have to worry about school or anything. All I really thought about was playing Heart Gold, and that is what I did. And yes, the birds were in it too, but they didn't really play a very important role in the story and the whole roaminess as the dogs beast did. It took me forever to get Raikou and Entei. I struggled so much. I don't even know why. I was like very young at this point. I'm not very young, but I was young, and I did not grasp the idea of a roaming legendary. I failed to catch them in Ruby and Sapphire, Latios and Latias. I just completely failed at catching them. I didn't even know they really existed. Like as roaming legendaries, because back then I was like Ruby and Sapphire, I was like very, very young. But Heart Gold Soul Silver, it was very hard for me to find these guys. I had to get my friends to help me. It was a struggle, but I ended up catching them, and that was a good 20 hours. And I just remember that experience going out and trying to get Raikou, and Entei. Very, very hard experience. And I love the whole especially because they all took place in the tower, the bell tower, or whatever, you know what I'm talking about, the one that Ho-Ho's in. I've literally made 5 videos in a row, and all my Pokemon logic has all been through the fan at this point. The burnt tower, whatever you want to call it, I don't even know. I'm tired. The place you get Ho-Ho, okay? Just all of the dogs were located in there originally, and Ho-Ho being like the first like epic legendary. To me, I like Dialga and Palkia, but they didn't feel like huge, awesome, unique legendaries to me. I don't know why. When I got Ho-Ho, it felt like such an experience, and Raikou and Suicune and Entei were all part of that experience. This is getting really emotional, but yeah. Entei, Suicune, and Raikou. I think Suicune's my favorite. Oh, and definitely the Entei movie helps us a lot. Entei and Suicune. Entei more has like a more emotional bond to me, just because that movie I watched like 20,000 times. The whole Entei movie. Even though it's like one of the most hated movies now when I look at like fan base discussions, it was probably one of my favorite movies when I was a child. So Entei really had a sweet spot in my heart. Meanwhile, Articuno was like, oh, look at that ice bird. No, but yes, thank you for watching. Make sure to comment down your favorite legendary trio in Pokemon, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. This is getting pretty hard with my top 5 baby legendaries. So yeah, that's going to be fun. Yeah, see you guys later. Bye-bye. What's up, guys? Nico.